Thank you for joining us today for the Meritorious Military Series Veterans in Tech. My name is Catherine Kostreva, and I am a co founder of Meritorious. For those who don't know, Meritorious is an all in one SaaS platform, making it easier for military connected professionals, business owners, nonprofits, and veteran friendly organizations to find each other, collaborate, and engage transitioning veterans and military spouses. The platform is free to join and offers a member portal, networking events, access to mentors and recruiters, virtual communities, and a mobile app with geolocation. I pinned the link into the chat for you to join Meritorious, as well as a link to upload your resume if you are seeking new career opportunities. Now, speaking of the chat, I already see folks blowing it up, but I would love for you to share where you're located in the US, what branch you served or are serving, your MOS, career goals. If you own a company, tell us about it. If you're hiring, drop your careers page and email in the chat. Also, be sure to share your LinkedIn profiles. We email this chat transcript to all registrants in our post-event recap. So there's about 550 registrants, and there are folks obviously who can't make it last minute. So it's a great opportunity for you to get your profile seen, and we will be sure to send that out right after the event. We have two speakers today, as well as one-to-one networking and virtual tables for you to connect on today's topic. Some quick tips to maximize your experience today. Please use a personal computer with Chrome browser or an iPad. If you are on your mobile phone, please access through your computer or download the AirMeet app so you can activate chat, and virtual tables. Otherwise, you're just going to only be able to watch the sessions. Unfortunately, DoD and government issued computers generally don't work. They have firewalls, so good luck. If you experience any audio or visual interruptions, simply refresh your browser. And when you enter speed networking or a virtual table, your audio and video controls are located at the bottom of the pop up screen, and each table has its own private chat. So if you're corresponding with one of our table facilitators, be sure to use that chat instead of the chat on the right side of the screen. I do want to say special thanks to companies facilitating tables today, which includes Oracle, Vets to Drones, Mission Box Solutions, FDM Group, Advanced IT Concepts, Cisco, Fortify, Edgewater Technical Associates, SOSI, Tachyon Dynamics, 10th Mountain Recruiting, Client Solutions Architects, NBBDC, and Virginia Tax, all of which have tech roles open. So in case you are interested, please drop into those tables. They also welcome those who are looking for B2B, B2C connection. So you can always ask those folks for referrals within those companies. Each table has a hashtag to help you narrow down which one to visit. So make sure you scroll all the way to the bottom of the lobby. You'll see there's at least 14 tables. There's also one-to-one meetings in case you want to connect privately with somebody today. So let's get started. Thank you for joining us today for the Meritorious Military Series Veterans in Tech. It is my pleasure to welcome Chris Lewis, founder and CEO of Vets to Drone. Chris served as a non-commissioned officer in the U.S. Marine Corps. He designed Vets to Drones to prepare military and first responder veterans to enter the commercial UAS industry and transition into civilian life. Through specialized drone courses, the organization helps veterans obtain their drone license and connect them with drone observation opportunities in a number of fields. The Vets to Drones team experience spans every military branch, every combat zone, and across most UAS platforms that have been either downrange or in commercial markets. Please join me in welcoming Chris Lewis. Thank you for joining us, Chris.
Hey, thank you for having me, Catherine. So, Chris Lewis, it's great to be here. Good to talk to you all. The commercial drone industry holds a lot of opportunities for everyone, and we created a nonprofit to help get the community together here in the commercial drone industry. So, if you're interested in learning more about drones, the drone industry in general, learning how to fly, give us a call in the chat and come into our room, and we'll help you get started. So we are a nonprofit initiative. I'm based out of North Carolina. Our West Coast chapter president is out of Sacramento, and we have a mobile chapter president for the Midwest that travels around doing training between the Mississippi and the Rockies. So we are coast to coast. We're up to about 630 members nationwide right now. We are helping everyone get into the get into the commercial drone industry. So If you are interested, please ask any questions. But some of our main missions are workforce development, of course, getting you in the commercial drone industry, uh, recreational therapy, naturally therapeutic to fly a robot around out in nature. We do K through 12 education for uh, STEM programs and after school programs for local schools and surrounding communities. Reforestation is one of our big ones as well. We work with the international NGOs. It works in 80 countries planting trees, and we go count their trees using drones. And then natural disaster response using this technology in the areas most needed is important to us. So we do, uh, of course, on the East Coast, hurricane and tornado response and flood response, and on the West Coast, we do earthquake and wildfire response. So if you're interested in coming and finding an adventure in the drone industry, please reach out. There's a lot of exciting things going on here. We are currently in Denver at the AUVSI UAS conference, and a lot of good things are happening. So, do I have any, Catherine? Do I have time for questions here, or we keep pushing?
Sure. I actually have some questions for you. On your website, you showcased the last, and I think you rotate every so often, but could you tell us more about the actual? There was a hurricane here in the States, and you were able to get folks out there. I really would like to hear more about what they were doing, boots on the ground, and then also what was the end result for these guys operating and guys and gals operating the drone? What were they getting out of it? Did they get connections after the fact?
Absolutely, yeah. So traditionally, using drone responses well, for infrastructure inspection and development. So for power lines that are down, you're scouting out all the power lines, making sure where they're all damaged, letting the power companies know where the damaged lines are so they can go repair them, put the poles back up, and get things back established. Telecom, scouting out the cell towers in the area, radio towers in the area that may have been damaged by wind, so that the AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile can go out there and repair the rads on the telecom, on the cell towers, and get telecom back up and running in the given region. Um, General disaster scouting as well for FEMA is pretty important. They want to know where all the damage is. But as a nonprofit, we go down with other veteran nonprofits that do natural disaster response and help in search and rescue efforts and road clearing and go down with chainsaws. My team's down there with drones, but they got the chainsaws and just kind of helping reestablish society as quickly as possible. So the latest one we went to was actually the Little Rock, Arkansas tornado, and what we ended up using was one of our software partners is Drone Deploy, and they have some functions for what's called photogrammetry and mapping to create a digital twin of a given area. So we mapped out the damaged area, the swath of land that was or swath of properties that were demolished by the tornado, and we also used what's called a 360 panorama from model from the sky as well. It allows us to scout out the areas pretty quickly. You get results from that. It only takes about 5 minutes to fly, and you get results from it from in about an hour. And you're able to scout out a large area using that type of functionality. They love the work we do as well. They give us free access to the software so we can test it out in very interesting environments and austere environments, and it works out really well. So the main thing we're doing now with Vets to Drones, not just the drone industry itself, is scouting damaged areas, and then of course infrastructure development afterwards.
All right. We do have another question for you. So let's see. The gentleman named Drew Everett has a question. He asked, what are the new applications or frontiers he sees as up and coming for commercial drone use? Maybe it's already happening, or the new industries that you think would benefit from exploring this tech.
Absolutely. So, well, the happening this year and a little bit into last year was from infrastructure inspections and manual flight for inspections towards autonomous flight for inspections, of course, and then to delivery. So one of the big pushes for the drone economy is into the delivery realm, and a lot of the barriers to that are held by the FAA. So there's a lot of effort, especially if you're in the tech world, of facilitating the regulatory automation needed to move delivery operations along, according to the FAA. But the progress that's being had is towards medical delivery operations versus flying for lattes and pizza and stuff like that. They're, you want to do these type of operations where it actually matters and you're actually able to save lives. So it works really well. And then the other tech that's moving the ball forward is towards natural disaster response. And of course, there's some stuff happening in the DoD. We all came from that world and we try to give back to it, about how to control and monitor airspace in real time so you can safely traverse airspace using UAS, whether you're doing delivery or long range applications. Um, all of that's coming to the forefront now. So if you want to get involved in some, uh, flying drones, but then also, smart city initiatives, some IoT based tech as well, we're at the cutting edge of all of that. So it's definitely a world to live in.
Okay. Another question for you is now, some folks don't have that sort of background, but they have an interest in getting into the field. So, what are some recommendations? Because the folks I know, they were in the military they have some sort of background in it. They've tinkered with, those toys. But then for those who have just like, hey, man, I have an affinity for it, I have a passion for it, I bought my own drone. Let's talk about certifications or programs that maybe free resources out there in addition to vets to drones that you could recommend.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's our main thing. We with free resources across the industry, including the ones that we provide. Um, and I recommend anybody getting into drones, whether you want to do it as a hobbyist or go for it full time, or even as a part time side gig to see if you can pull some cash. Um, it's fun. It's therapeutic. Like I was saying, you're going outside, you're playing with robots, and then you start diving into how's this thing work, where's this tech going next, and it really opens up like a new world of opportunities when you look at the tech from a different angle. But getting out there and flying as often as possible is definitely the way to get started and into it. Doesn't mean you have to have a background from the military in UAS. You know, I barely did. I had some touches on it when I was deployed, but not. I wasn't a MOS drone pilot at all. I just kind of got handed a box when I was in the Corps, so it worked out for me.
Okay. And then a final question for you here is, and this might be like a stupid question, but since AI is such a huge, and this is my personal question. So AI is such a big influence now. People are so worried about things, the displacement of jobs. Obviously, the whole concept of drones is that they're autonomous, air vehicles or however you want to call it systems. So, like, where do you see that tie-in? Do you think it's going to be the unmanned of the unmanned, or like where do you see that tying in, or is it just going to be increasing the intelligence that can be gathered through drones? That would be my query.
That's a perfect question. And you hit it right on the head. So right now, it's being used for intel data collection, right? AI vision, machine learning protocols. So you have a sensor payload on there, whether it's thermal, lidar, or visual. You're able to use AI to dictate and determine different objects and trends of the data you're collecting. For the reforestation mission we do photogrammetry. We run it through an AI protocol owned by a veteran-owned company out of Georgia, and his AI analyzes the entire scene and counts all the trees, and we send the data to our clients. Strange use case, and never would have thought of it before, but it's what's working for us now. And then when it comes into the autonomous operation of UAS, that's the biggest topic in the UAS industry right now is figuring out how to make that as safe as possible. So you can have AI controlled UAS long range, and even multiple drones at one time being operated with a human in the loop, on the loop, or out of the loop. And it's really a hot topic right now, especially at this conference and for everybody working on this technology. So that is exactly where it's going next. AI is heavily relied upon from everything from writing a grant or a proposal up to somebody to explain how you're going to use it to the code needed to actually make it happen. AI is pivotal in this industry and it's pushing it forward faster, which is great to see and be a part of.